Hey everybody, today we'll be talking about control structures on C++. Now we have all been through the basic C++ programming. This will be a really useful part of programming language in which you will actually be able to do something according to different inputs or different things that you want to do with the program. So a program is not actually very limited with just a linear sequence of commands. Sometimes you might want to split the program into some parts, or you might want to repeat a piece of code, or you might also want to take some decisions in the program depending upon what you want your program to do. And in those times, this feature in all the programming language that will help you create a control structure will be very helpful. Okay, and so to introduce control structures, we might need to get into the concept of compound statements. Okay, a compound statement is just a block of statements. There are plenty of statements inside a block, which is, let me show you what I mean, because that will be a lot easier to. So let me start up my gedit on my Linux. That's a notepad like thing for Linux, but it's much more powerful. So yeah, let me create a gedit file, a C++ file. I'm gonna say that test.cpp. Okay, alright, there we go. So alright, now a C++ compound statements are enclosed in this type of parenthesis in program. Okay, very important. And you write statements inside here separated by semicolons. Alright, so that's a block of statements. Okay, that's a compound statement. That's what we call a compound statement. Okay, now since we know what a compound statement is, we're gonna see what are the control structures. So in this particular video, we're gonna talk about one of the most important control structure that will help you take decisions in the program. Okay, so this is the if then else statement in C++. Alright, so if then else. Okay, normally in C++ only keywords would be if and else. So let me show you how we write it. Just a pseudocode example. Pseudocode is the language that almost everybody could understand. So let me say if something is true, right, then what we're gonna say is do something. If it is not true, else, then do some other thing. Alright, this is the basic principle of how if then else works. Okay, let me, I don't know if this is too small, so I'm gonna just increase the font to be a little bit bigger. Alright, that should be good. Yeah, for now. Alright, so that's how if then else works. Okay, so now let me see. So this is only when you only have one thing to do with the decision. Okay, so let's say if something is true, then if you want to do only one thing, then you can write this way, or if you want multiple tasks to be done, when that happens, when this condition is true, you want to include this inside a parenthesis like this. Okay, and here also that and that. Alright, so if something is true, do something, you know, blah blah blah, and also here same thing. Okay, if you want to add all other things, you can add this way. Alright, so let me show you what I mean by writing all these in a program. Let's start to get our hands dirty with the programs. Okay, so I'm gonna just write a simple program to show what the decisions, what kind of decision we'll be making. Namespace std, this is all basic, we already know all about it. Not really, but you'll know about namespace and everything later on. Okay, so let me see. Alright, now let's say we want to have an integer x which is going to be 100. Okay, or let's make it more interesting. Let's declare x, and let's say we want to get something from the user. Okay, so as we know from earlier videos, we use cin to get something. Alright, so cin, and we're gonna put whatever user inputs inside x. Alright, and let's say we want to check if user input more than 100 or less than 100. Okay, so if x, to check if it is equal or not, we don't use single equals in C++, we use double equals. This is very important. If you just use single equals 100, then what's going to do is it's going to put 100 inside x, and this is going to return true every time. Okay, this is very important, so use double equals all the time. Alright, if x double equals 100, then we're gonna say cout the number is greater than 100. Alright, easy enough. Now otherwise we're gonna say cout the number is smaller than 100. Alright, there we go. Now this should be pretty straightforward. We talked about this in our earlier videos. So as you can see, I only need one thing to do after if this is correct, if yux equals to 100, or more than that, let's say yux is greater than 100, then I can say greater than or smaller than. But if you want to check equals, then that's what you will do. Alright, so now this is a complete C++ program. Let's try to compile it. I have my file here. I'm gonna compile C++ test.cpp. I'm gonna say test. Alright, I did IO steam, which is not correct, so my keyboard is acting a little weird today. Alright, there we go, it's compiled. We have runtime, so let's input some number. Let's say 30. Alright, tada, the number is less than 100. Now let's see, 101, the number is greater than 100. You see, you took a decision with the help of a program. Now with this kind of control statement, you are making your program more intelligent. Okay, you are making it do something depending upon what you have got in your program. Okay, now as I said, the compound statement, I'll show you what I mean about compound statement. So let's put this all in that. If you are only having this one statement, then this parenthesis is the curly braces is not required, but if you want to have multiple statement, then it is very important. Okay, so and also put here, let's say if you want to say x is going to be increased by 2 times x. Alright, that's what we want to do. Alright, now we're gonna say the number is greater than 200. Okay, yeah, that should be fine. And number is smaller than 200. Alright, and then maybe if you want to do something else after this line, you can do it. You can say x divides by 2 or divide equals. We talked about this earlier in other videos. So here also I can say x times equals 2. Alright, it's the same thing, and this is same as x equals to x divided by 2. Okay, so here also let me do that. X divide equals 2. Okay, easy. Yep. Okay, so there we go. That's the compound statement. Anything inside this, that's called a compound statement because you have multiple statements inside these curly braces. Okay, so and this should also give us, now every time you make changes here you have to compile it again. Okay, that's very important. I don't know if I told you that earlier or not. So 20 is smaller than 200 and 202 is greater than 200. Alright, so that's how if then else statement works in very general. Okay, you can play with this. You can have much more fun than what I just told you, but that's how you check. Okay, now let's see if you want multiple checkings to be done within same if then else. Let's say now you want to add, you also want to see if a number is between 100 and 200. Okay, so let me remove these lines here just to make it simple. Okay, alright, there we go. Now let's see this, make this 100 again, 100 again. Now here what we can do is we can say else if, okay, if x is not greater than 100. Okay, if it is greater than 100 it goes in here and it just gets out. It will not go to any other else or else if. Okay, so but if it is not greater than 100, let's make it 200 here. Let's say if it is greater than 200, else if we want to check if x is less than or equals to 200 and x is greater than 100. Okay, let's put all these in a big parenthesis like that. So now here will output as the number is in between 200 and 100. Okay, and then we can say else, then we'll say cout, oops, the number is less than or equal to 100. There we go. See, now let's test the program again. Compile it, run it. 20. The number is less than or equals to 100. Test it. 120. The number is between 200 and 100. Test it. 201. The number is greater than 200. Outstanding, isn't it? So, and also just 200, that is not greater than 200, so it's gonna show the number is between 200 and 100. Alright, that's cool. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot more fun writing this kind of code in programs, and it becomes really interesting later on. when you get to loop and other types of control structures, in which you will start to feel that you really have control over what you're writing as a program, and you will be able to do a lot more things in your program than just displaying the output, you know. And we also, if you remember or not, we talked also about ternary operator. That's the smaller form for this. Let's say in the same program, I'm going to clear this up. Alright, now let's say that if x is greater than 200, alright, you want to do something like, declare another integer. Let's declare one more integer here. Let's say that's p. So we're going to say that p is going to be equals to x times 2. Okay, else if x is less than or equals to 200, and put one more parenthesis here, and x is greater than 100, then we want to do something like p equals to x divided by 2. Alright, just do this much for now, just to make it simpler. Else, and if it is else, we don't need all this. Don't put anything after else. If it is else if, then you can put, otherwise it's going to give you error. So let's see, you want to write this line. Now we talked about this earlier, if you remember, it's not about ternary operator. You can implement this just in one line like that. P equals x greater than 20, x greater than 200, going to give you, we want to have x times 2 in p, otherwise we want to have x divided by 2. Alright, if you don't remember this, you might have to go back and look into other previous videos where I have talked about the ternary operator. What this basically means is, if x is greater than 200, then put x times 2 inside p, otherwise else put x divided by 2 in p. Alright, as simple as that. So that should be just as this line that I wrote earlier. That's also ternary operator, if then else. Alright, sounds good. Alright, so that's one easier way. If you just want to put something inside, checking with the if then else, then that's how you do it. So let me just tell you what other things that you need to remember. So if you want to check multiple things in if statement, then as you might have noticed, you use double ampersand sign. That's if this statement is true and this statement is true, and then return true. Okay, so, and there's also or, and there's, yeah, that's pretty much it, and also not. Okay, so let me show you one by one what those means. So if, let's say, x is greater than, or let's say x is equals to 100, and let's say x is equals to 200. Okay, now if that is true, then I will say cout x given number is either 100 or 200. Oh yeah, I was meant to do or here. Okay, so if x is equals to 100 or x equals to 200, they are very literal meaning with English. Okay, just remember that. If x equals to 100 or x equals to 200, then given number is either 100 or 200. Simple. Alright, now let's see if you want to do else if. x double equals let me see, 50. X double equals 50 and x is, x double equals 50 and x is, what do we say, this will always be returning true, so let's make it not equals, but if x is less than 50 and x is greater than 25, then we're gonna say cout x is between 50 and 25 exclusive. Alright, and we can also say else if x equals, if both of those are not true, then let's say double equals 75, and we're going to put here not. So that means if x equals to 75, that means if x is not equals to 75, then it's going to return true. Remember, we talked about this earlier too. So this is going to, let's say x is not 75, okay, and it will only get to this statement only if does not pass through this and this statement here. Okay, if this and this both return false, then only it's going to come here. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, we're good. Now let's take this off, save it, compile it, run it. Okay, let's see if x equals to 100 or x equals to 200. Okay, let's check for that. X equals to 100, the number is either 100 or 200. And now let's try again. If else if x is less than 50 or greater than 25, so let's say 30. X is between 50 and 25 exclusive. Now if I say x is 75, it does not satisfy either condition. So since, and it also since does not do this, it just, we forgot to put an else statement here. So x does not qualify anywhere. And that's what we're gonna say, because it doesn't. Alright, so if we put 75, that's why it was not giving anything, because it didn't qualify. So 75, x does not qualify anywhere. Alright, now 74, x is not 75. You see, that's how you work with if then else. Okay, you can do plenty more things with if then else, and also later on, as I told you. So try those and have fun with this. Alright, so this is everything for if then else that you need to know. Pretty much there are quite other things that you want to know about this, but don't have to, because this is all functional and you can write a pretty good program just using if then else statements. Alright, so let me see. Alright, and please rate, comment and subscribe. Don't forget to go to my website, which is still under construction, been really busy. So I'll try to finish that up, put some quiz, maybe you want to have some skill testing for yourself. I will have some sample programs for you to write using all these statements that you have already learned on the website. So check that out regularly. I'll try to complete it as soon as possible. Alright, thanks for watching. Rate, comment and subscribe. Thank you very much. You have a good day.